Right, and especially looking at that tag, it's giving me such a throwback. You can't see it, but you'll see it once they get into game. That little T, the little Tau, and then the Sigma for Takeover. That is a team that was really, really strong at the beginning of Splatoon 2's competitive life cycle, and into a little bit of 2018 and at the end of 2017 when the game launched. They were very strong, like top 12s in international events. These are players who have a very seasoned history, and it's going to be great to see them back.
It is, and no, they are not Five Cheese Toast or Acropora. That's just a little trick to make sure you guys were paying attention, which you are. Congratulations for you. Game one actually is Clamblitz at Humpback Pump Track. I think we're a little left over from the last side, but still, this is a best of three, not play all three. Yes. And when you see a team that's traditionally coming over from Splatoon 1 who got results back in 2017, that transition's not always smooth. And yeah, they were Div 1 back in the day, but that doesn't mean they're as current and ready to go as a pickup team like Daytona is, especially when you see them coming out. Well, okay, maybe they've adapted to the meta pretty well. Maybe some things aren't that difficult to translate over.
No, I mean, especially, you get the lowdown from a couple of players who you still keep in contact with, and you say, oh yeah, Squeezer's broken, Jet's broken, everything's a shooter now, and they have the skills to play shooters because, I mean, people played it back then too. It's going to be interesting, though, to see how they work around Clamblitz, which is a mode that came out a bit later on in Splatoon 2's life cycle that a lot of people did not enjoy. And KM getting this first pick and the second to chain it together and starting to move towards this right elbow, trying to get those clams together. It's looking like it's a good first push for the members of Daytona. See if they can actually put something together. It seems like they're fumbling the clams a little bit, Popgun.
Daytona coming out to a fast start and finally fumbling the clams into one player who can make a power clam as they pop the basket. KM working around this right side, keeping attention away from the basket, but the rest of the players from Daytona go down. So an empty push that doesn't really result in anything other than giving White Lotus a mercy clam to work with and control of mid as they start building up their specials and get ready for their first push.
And to see if they can use that momentum to bring it back. They really can't get overextended. This map mode has been killer for players today, especially when they're trying to work around this right side when nobody really has control of mid. They need to throw those walls, throw those subs, and make sure they can make some space in that higher ground area. But it seems like Giggle ends up going down. Star is going to try and pick up these clams here. That NZAP's so key to making these pushes work with that armor, with the paint. Not looking like they can make too much ground yet. Just going to stand for a little bit more neutral. Going to try and make a double-pronged push with this right side and some people in front near the basket.
Yeah, and we've been following Star here, who's just been kind of moving up with their team, recognizing when they have the man advantage and they can capture some space. But again, this is the first match of the tournament, so we're seeing a little bit of I wouldn't say hesitation, but just a little bit of lack of realizing, or just maybe a little bit of commitment issues of when they go in and when not, just trying to fill out each other. But you start to see a lot of clams getting built up here from White Lotus, and again, they have mid control. It's just a question of when are they going to pull the trigger and just try to go in there. One player trying to flank around the right side of the elbow, and they finally do score somehow, but they don't really get any splats to go with it, so it might be yet another empty push coming out this time from the side of White Lotus.
And it's kind of interesting, right? You see these players are trying to use that burst onto the scene. Exactly what I was saying. They need to burst onto that basket area and just hold it down, control it, and make sure that nobody is in that area so that they can keep scoring and keep the ground painted for their color. And they were finally able to do so. It seemed like they had such cold feet before, but now with those bubbles, such an important special to making that happen, especially on something like clams. Very good play by that Squeezer, and now they're able to keep this push going even for a little bit longer. If Uzi doesn't get this pick, it's going to be a lot more clams actually coming in. Finally gets painted a little bit blue, and they're done. That was really, really clean.
And they didn't kill Zay at all. Zay was able to get all those splats, create so much distraction, and still stay alive. Finally, they get taken down, and now the man advantage is in the favor of Daytona, who has still plenty of time left on the clock. They have a Mercy Clam to work with as well. As once again, they're trying to just pull attention away to this right side, and they have a baller to work with too, so they're probably just waiting for the right time. Actually, all four specials online, so this is your opportunity to make something happen. Missiles, armor, bubbles, Baller being the last one to get pushed out here, but 2 players instantly go down, and now you got 2 players partying in your base. This is a great opportunity for Daytona.
It was a great opportunity, and it got stalled a little bit because Takeover made the right play, or White Lotus made the right play to push forward and push out as they were getting collapsed on from their plat to make sure that push got slowed down at least a little bit. But that Power Clam jump in is going to secure the lead for Daytona for the time being, and they can still keep this going actually with the KM getting a great pick, trying to get that wall bomb, not able to land it on the KGal, not going to be able to find the picks just yet. The torpedo barely sneaking away is that KGal, and White Lotus has time. Again, it's not over till it's over. But that was a very good turnaround from Daytona, making sure to use that momentum in their favor. Oh, wow!
Oh, how long are they going to hold on to it? No, 2 players going down. Booyah Bomb and Bubbles. And look at all the clams going on. You're not just looking at a lead change. You might get a KO right here if you're not careful. There goes the lead. Ends up being the last player left alive, throwing some more clams. Oh, no, you don't want to get wiped in this scenario. This might be a KO in the opposite side now, because look how quickly Daytona's able to capture mid, because they have all this free real estate that they got. They're going to build up their specials, which they have been doing. 4 special pushes, and the Mercy Clam to work with right here. This is a scary lead to hold on to for White Lotus.
Very scary. All it needs is 3 Power Clams, and they're good, or 2 Power Clams and about 5 regular clams. Cam going to sneak by this bomb, and is going to land up there. There was so much paint on that plat, and it was going to make a good open, but no! They dove forward once again, making the correct play as they got collapsed on, and moving forward, getting the wipe, and making sure they shut down the push before it happens. Daytona was depending on KM making room, making a split-second decision to focus back while they pushed forward, but they knew it was coming, and White Lotus managed to step forward and take out the play before it happened.
And it's weird because we just saw that right side, but we saw so many people just die off camera in front of the basket, and it looked like KM was able to get the space they needed, like you said. When you just capture the elbow and you can just go straight up to the basket from up top right there, that's usually GG. But I guess just the players on the backside rushed in a little too late, didn't give KM that opportunity to get the splats that they were going to get, or create the distraction they were going to do. So a little bit of too much aggression coming out from the side of Daytona, maybe a little too fast, because KM was in the right spot right there to make the play they needed to win.
It seemed like they were in the driver's seat, right? They were rounding that corner, just finally just in the lead. Oh, but I think the experience coming in there, like, that is such an experienced play to recognize that, like, okay, this is what we need to do against the flank. Something like a low ink team, not going to be able to make that same kind of decision.
Well, these guys are well beyond low ink.
Right.
I believe most of them are. I mean, Footman number 4 was on that Molly Whopper team. KM, I believe, was on Heaven's Moonlight when they eventually got banned. So, like, all these players are, you know, it's hard to create these fake levels that don't actually exist, but these guys are beyond low ink and have been getting really strong results in tournaments outside of it as well. But yeah, going up against a team as old as Splatoon itself, not an easy task, but still, they're probably a little bit more current. They got the double armor comp coming out here with Footman number 4 using the Rapid Blaster Deco, which we saw that player use in low ink and just erase chargers a couple of months ago. This time around, going up against the V-Jet.
I think it's a very important weapon that people have been starting to pick up slowly ever since Starburst used it at Riptide. And though it's been slow to get to the lower-ish levels, this is exactly the reason why you saw those pop shots getting popped over there when people were clamped up, especially on a map like this that's so claustrophobic. Mikey gonna try and end up taking a fight here. Able to at least trade it out. Yeah, that's very clutch. They've got the positioning now, though.
A 1v3 situation, the trade's the best you can hope for. And that's going to slow down the missiles that are going to be coming out from the K-shot. But you do have missiles and bomb rush to work with to help create the lockout, which is Daytona. And the missiles forcing Daytona back into the zone as we see some bubbles coming around up top there, along with the Booyah Bomb. Zay still being an issue right there, but they're able to pull off the trade as well. So a KO situation is getting stared down, but the man advantage is in the favor of White Lotus. Star working around that right side is going to take care of this player jumping in, and they do cap the zone eventually, but a huge opening push from Daytona.
That's massive, especially getting it as low as that. If they can at least just hang on, get a couple more specials at the ready, that double armor coming in like really, really big. they can be able to just stall this out afterwards, right? Like, they can just keep trading back and forth. But if Mikey is able to land this Booyah and they're able to go forward on the plat with a couple of members from White Lotus, it could shove them back in and force them into a bad fight on this plat, and it's exactly what it's looking like they're going to do. Logan somehow surviving, and that's actually pretty big. That's saving that bomb rush might be able to cap this zone and make sure people get off of the fan. Barely, the time is ticking down, so they need to go quickly, and I think they recognize that, but somebody stepped a little bit too far forward. The K-Shot goes down over on the right corner, and Logan's trying to fight this one out. No, Mikey's able to clutch it out. Yuzi trying to make a move, trying to get somewhere towards that zone, but 20 ticks left, and Popgun, I don't think they're going to get there.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get back. You see KM just trying to force it along that right side, but surely White Lotus is going to pick up on it. Another player jumping back in, and they take care of it. Yeah, it's hard to say that with a junior in a 2v1 situation that you should stay there and try to fight out of it, but with the time that you have left, you're kind of just forced to make bad decisions and just hope for the best of it. But ultimately right there, Daytona, with the huge lead, couldn't really find a way to break out of the lockout, despite the fact that they were able to deal with the squeezers, they not being as effective as they were in Game 2, but the rest of White Lotus able to step up there and get the win over Daytona.
I think that Rapid Bastard Pro Deco pick was actually really smart and really intelligent, and just a couple of things go a little bit different on either one of those pushes for either the retake for White Lotus or Daytona's attempt to get back in, and that game goes in their favor. But just it's a very hard weapon to play, and that's why we really only see like the cream of the crop really play it. People like Brand, people like Niagara from the Splat World Championship, who did really well with it and ended up winning that invitational. It's a hard weapon to play, but when you get it in the right hands, it is immensely powerful. So I think it's a good call.
What was the result you looked up for TakeOver? You said they won something in November of 2017?
Oh, goodness. I just had it up. Oh, where was it? It was a tournament. It was a smaller tournament that they ended up doing really well in. They also did top 12 in Inkage, which was January in 2018. I'm trying to find the other result. But yeah, no, this team was a staple team, ranked in the top 25 teams in the West for a long time.